Everyone. Welcome, as Yvonne said, welcome to the sixth Career Readies Careers in Conversation, which is powered by the Permira Foundation. And I'm Natalia Twahidwa, and I graduated from the Careers Ready program in 2019. And now I am currently going into my first year of clinical science. And today I will be chairing this session. So as Yvonne said, I'll just repeat, please make sure that you are on mute and that your camera is off. And in this event, it will be recorded, as Yvonne said, and it will be available on the Career Readies website for those who were unable to join today. So today I'll be in conversation with Steve Granite, Chief Executive of Abbey Logistics, and also the founder of the industry initiative, Think Logistics. So hi, Steve. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Natalia.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
That's great. So just to start off, I would just like to ask you a bit about your role and about the organization that you work for and how and what led you to the current position that you're in right now.
Okay, so my role in the business is Chief Executive of the company. We employ around 600 people across the UK. The business is a specialist road tanker company. We're the largest in the UK. We specialise in transportation of food ingredients such as chocolate, sugar, salt, flour, all ingredients that go into all the food manufacturers. And we also operate a non-food tanker fleet as well across the UK and Europe.
Wow.
What led me to this role is I'll probably cover it off a bit later about how I got the role at Abbey. But I started off my career as an accountant. I was a trainee accountant, became a management accountant, and then I progressed on to become a finance director and then managing director.
All right. Oh, that sounds really interesting. So have you always been interested in the finance sector?
Not particularly finance. I was actually not very good at maths at school. So always says you must be good at maths, but it's probably not my strongest subject.
Yeah.
But you know, the qualification that I took, which was CIMA, which was a Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, it's more to do with you know, the running of a business and understanding the numbers as opposed to a typical accountant who you know just records numbers. So it's been more about being interested in business as opposed to being interested in finance as such.
All right, that's really cool. So next question I would like to ask, what was the best and worst advice that you got when you left school?
Probably the worst advice I got was from the careers advice.
Really?
At the time, all I remember of my careers advice was we had terms a piece of going in to see the careers advisor.
Yeah.
And literally they said to me, what is it you want to do when you leave school? And I said, well, all I knew at that time was that I wanted to work in an office environment. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew it was in an office environment and in business in general. So they literally just got a book off the shelf, went to the section of civil service administration.
Wow.
Asked to read that paragraph on what the job involved, the range of salaries, and then sent me on my way. So that was genuinely the top and bottom of my careers advice from school.
Yeah.
But I think really at the time it was probably more your parents who guided you on your career choices and stuff. So when I was leaving school, I had a couple of different job offers at the time. And it was more my parents who gave advice on, you know, well, the pros and cons of each one and which one would probably best suit me.
Yeah.
And looking back, it was good advice.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So always listen to your parents, basically. Yeah. So I just like to the next question is kind of similar to what you just touched upon, and it's, did you always know what you wanted to do?
No, as I said before, it's more. I always knew that I wanted to work in an office environment, but I wasn't entirely sure, what that would entail.
Yeah.
Once I always knew I wanted to be in business, probably running a business in a management position.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I actually got into work, I very quickly wanted to go into the accountancy route.
Okay.
So, because when I joined Abbey, it was quite a small business in 1995.
Yeah.
So you were thrown quite in at the deep end, and asked to do lots of different things quite early on in my career. So I was doing planning of vehicles one day, or for probably 6 months. Then I'd go into the finance department for 6 months. Then I'd work in the vehicle maintenance department for another 6 months. And a colleague and I, who started the same day, we'd done about 2 years of just roaming around the business doing different things.
Yeah.
So it was after that, at the end of it, I knew I wanted to go down the finance route and become an accountant.
Mm-hmm.
And that and also with the people who owned the business at the time, they were quite entrepreneurial. So I knew I almost wanted to be like them
Yeah.
So I think them early couple of years almost just confirmed what I wanted to do in my career.
Yeah.
Then. But I always had a good
Mm-hmm.
idea.
Yeah. So you always knew that you had an entrepreneurial mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's good. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Abbey Logistics. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, when I go back to when I left school, I had 2 job offers. One was with Abbey, which was
Yeah.
a small family business at the time, and then the other one was with quite a large global company in the petrochemical sector. And it was my parents who said to me, "You're probably better going into the family business. You'll probably learn more because you'll be doing lots of different things as opposed to just doing one specific role in a big organisation."
Well, that's really cool. So, how did you get into your first ever job?
So what happened was the family that owned the Abbey at the time, was called Abbey Road Tanks. The owners went back to their old school,
Okay.
and they asked the school to give them, some young people to interview for 2 junior manager roles that they were recruiting for.
Yeah.
So myself and a colleague who's still with the business now, we were successful in
Yeah.
joining the company. And so we went in and we've done 2 years of different roles, and then Paul went off to do operations, I went off to do finance.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we got in, but also that experience of the owners going back to their old school.
Yeah.
That's what made me come up with the idea of Think Logistics, which was at the time around 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
We went back to the same school and we recruited 2 more young apprentices for the company, just to try and give them an opportunity to do what we'd done.
Yeah.
And I think that the logistics sector picked up on it and said, "No, that's a great initiative. How did you get to school and all the rest of it?" And that's where we came up with the idea of the Think Logistics initiative.
That's really interesting. So you've been able to at Abbey Logistics, you've been able to acquire a range wide of skills, by working in different mini sectors. So that's really interesting. So I would just like to ask about any barriers or challenges that you faced during your career.
There's been lots of challenges. I mean, barriers. Probably being young was a barrier at one point. So I always wanted to run faster than I should be at a young age. That's quicker than what I should. And it was always, it was never really ability, it was more like age. And people would say, well, you're still only young. And I'd say, yeah, I get that, but if you're performing at a certain level, then it doesn't matter about your age. And to be fair,
Yeah.
they were really good in, not allowing age to be a barrier and giving me promotions at very young ages. So they were really good, but I do see in organisations where they allow age to be a barrier.
Yeah.
The scale. And then in terms of challenges, there's been lots. The business has transformed time and time again, from
Yeah.
small business to medium business, medium to large, family to corporate. So it's gone through lots of different change throughout the last 25 years.
Yeah.
And that they can be quite challenging times, but we can look back and say it's been through a lot of transformational change over its years as it's grown, but it's always come up as a much stronger business.
Yeah. So would you say that through the changes that the company has gone through, it's allowed you to become more adaptable and flexible and being able to I don't know, like be able to adapt?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you're learning new skills all the time. So I don't think I'd be in the same business for 25 years if it was just a static business that didn't change. So
that's true.
People would say to me, it's a long time to be at one business, but I don't feel like I've been at one business. I feel like I've been at probably 6 or 7. It's been so much change in the business, what we do as a business, the people has changed so much, the ownership has changed, and there's never a dull year. It's always an exciting sector to be in.
Yeah.
Logistics is no one day is the same. It's always a different challenge or a different opportunity every day. So that's helped me to also develop my own skill set, develop as a person, become more adaptable, more flexible, more resilient. So yeah, it's benefited me massively.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. So so looking back to, let's say, when you were 18, after you left high school, have you always envisioned to be in this current position, chief executive?
I always had big aspirations when I was young. So when I left school, I left school. I didn't stay on sixth form, so I left when I was 15, just turned 16.
Yeah.
All of my brother and sister both went to university. I just wanted to go to work, so I didn't particularly want to go to university. I was more about wanting to get out, get experience, get earning money. And when the offer came along from Abbey, and they offered to do day release study, then that was perfect for me because I was still learning and I was getting experience and getting paid. So it was a great opportunity for me. So that worked out really well. But yeah, I think whether university or going into work is the right thing to do. I think it's different for every single person, every different instant, really.
Yeah, I agree as well. Because for so long it's been taught to us that university is like the only way to be able to progress into the future. But now it's good that, things like apprenticeships or apprenticeships where you can study at the same time has been normalized now, because obviously there's people who learn more through doing things and being more practical rather than, just through just learning through lectures. So I think that's really good, because then it's kind of like you get the best of both worlds, able to study, get a qualification, and then also be able to apply your skills. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, so reflecting on your career so far, what piece of careers advice do you wish you had been given when at the age of 17?
I don't know if I've been lucky myself, but I look at a lot of other people and look at the advice they were given
Yeah.
At the time, we were getting careers advice, and it wasn't sufficient careers advice. So it wasn't like you get now. You know, if you look at organisations like Career Ready, where you're opened up to so much information and
Yeah.
given first-hand experience, you can go on paid internships, you're getting mentored by people from the sector, you're getting talked through workshops. So your visibility of what's available as a young person is a hell of a lot better now than what it used to be.
Yeah.
So I think looking back to then, you know, it wasn't like I went into that careers advice session and said, this is what I want to do. And they said, okay, well, that's great. Here's all the information. But have you also thought about X, Y, and Z? It was
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to take your word for it. And there's a paragraph you can
Yeah.
go from it. And I don't know, you know, I'm involved with Career Ready, so I see what advice those students get, and I know how good that is, but I don't know whether people who aren't exposed to Career Ready, what careers advice are they currently getting? Are they
Yeah,
relying
that's
on them
true.
to give it? Are they relying on the teachers to give it? And even then, if you're relying on parents and teachers, you know, there's lots of sectors like logistics that teachers and parents also don't fully understand. So
Yeah.
if they're giving advice to their pupils or children
Yeah.
on career advice and career direction, they're only going to tell them what they know.
Yeah.
So you know, you are missing out really on sectors like logistics that are less known, and they have
Yeah.
a stigma attached to them that isn't really accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely think that logistics is quite is a underrated sector. I was only introduced to logistics like a few years ago when I found out that one of my cousins is a logistics manager at the Red Cross. And yeah, she just told me about what she does, and it was really interesting. And they do so, and there's so much that goes into it, but it's just a sector that's never really talked about, especially like in the mainstream. So yeah, I think, yeah, definitely, like you said, Career Ready, they give a lot of information and they enable us to expand our options. So yeah, and I just wanted to ask, how did you deal with the setbacks that you went through?
I mean, the setbacks in my career or challenges we faced as a business.
I guess in your career, well, let's do both, yeah, career and in your business.
So career setbacks. I've not really had many career setbacks, so it's to date it's been quite good. Not really. I've only been with Abbey since I was 15, so it's not like I've had to leave a business because it wasn't working out or anything like
Yeah.
that. Not being demoted yet. Right. But I think from a business point of view, you know, we have had setbacks where either you may lose a contract or performance might not be as good as what you want it to be at times. But I think not just myself, but the business is extremely resilient, and that's a
Yeah.
character that I place a lot of value on.
Mhm.
You know, and how we've got through it is you have to take the setback as a lesson, look at it and say, okay, well, it's happened. We're not going to change it.
Yeah.
What we do about it, and most of the times, if I look back to the major setbacks we've had in the business, which, you know, if you're running the business, then it's a personal setback.
Yeah.
You come out strong with the other side because it's almost been a time of reflection where you've sat down and said, okay, well, it's happened. Let's analyse what we can do. And then when
Yeah.
people actually step back and look at the situation and think, okay, we can do X, Y, Z, and we do it, we've always come out better the other side.
Yeah, definitely. Hmm. Yeah. So, because of like obviously we're in a pandemic right now, and I've got COVID-19 around. I was wondering, how has that like affected your business, and especially like the logistics, because you're a transport company. So how has that affected how your business operates? Did you have to make some changes, like really big changes?
Yeah, well, COVID is a prime example of setbacks. So the business has been improving its performance now since start of 2019.
Yeah.
Month on month, continuous improvement. And we got to March, and we were really satisfied with where the business was at.
Yeah.
And then COVID come along. So we thought, there was a lot of uncertainty around what would COVID mean to our business. And I look at other companies in our sector who, had to park up 80% of the fleet because their customers are down or whatever has happened.
Yeah.
But we went through quite a volatile period because being in the food sector, I don't know whether you recall, but at first there was a mad panic to go to the supermarkets and
definitely.
So
toilet rolls, everything went.
Yeah. So we had all the knock-on effect of having to, replenish all the stocks for the food manufacturer. So if you think of, pick one of our customers, one of the cooking oil customers, or Mars bars. We might deliver for 5 different customers into Mars with different products.
Yeah.
These things are coming off the shelf faster than what they ever have. They're ordering more and more ingredients, and we're having to deliver. So our volume really went through the roof for about 3 weeks, which is a massive challenge. And then what we found was that volume started to drop off. Certain factories closed for a while with COVID. A lot of our non-food customers closed. So that was a prime example of a major setback for the business. But we've done exactly what we always do. We sat down, we analysed it, we took action.
Yeah.
And again, the business now, we're back up to full demand. We've removed virtually everyone from furlough now back into the business. So the business is back to normal as it was.
All right, okay.
But the performance of the business in terms of delivery to customers and financially is, it's just unbelievable, the transformation. So we've COVID has actually been a catalyst for positive change in the business, because it's made us step back and look at the business through a different set of glasses, really.
That's really good. So it's basically like propelled your business. That's really good. That's really good to hear.
We were on a nice nice trajectory anyway to improve, but it's just really put a catalyst on it.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. That's really good to hear. So, just thinking about your career again, and just in general, like knowing what you know now, what advice would you have given to your teenage self?
I think to my teenage self, or to any other, pupil, really, it's just when you're leaving school, obviously no one knows, right, I want to be a chief executive of a logistics company.
That's true.
That's what I want to do. You've got a broad idea of what you want to do. But if I look back, I had a broad idea of what I wanted to do, but I hadn't set goals to say, okay, well, at this age, I might want to have my own house, I might want to have a car, and then by this time I might want this. And I always just think it's good to set goals. So we do it all the time as a business. But I think people, particularly young people, should at least have some life goals set out that they want to achieve, because that will help them determine what they want to do in the future. Don't have just some basic goals, even if it's just 3 goals, then how do you determine whether you're successful and where you want to be at a certain time?
Yeah, I definitely think, like you said, setting goals is really important, because it helps you to track your progress and then see where you want to go into the future. And I think for us, it's really important, especially for us humans, because then if we don't have any goals, then we don't really know what we're going to do, what we're doing, and it just becomes a mess. So doing goals, and also planning as well, like you mentioned, is really important. So do you think that personal quality, which one do you think is more important, personal qualities or qualifications?
I think if you've got if you've got both, then clearly that's quite powerful.
Yeah.
But when I review a CV, I tend to look for personal qualities, experience, and then qualifications last. So qualifications for me tend to be the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
I meet somebody at an interview and I think, got a really good attitude, very confident,
Yeah.
got good experience.
Yeah.
That's what I would look for first in a candidate. And then if somebody comes along with all those qualities and they also have, great results, then
Yeah.
obviously they have the competitive advantage.
Yeah.
But if I have to choose between personal qualities or qualifications, I'd always opt for personal qualities, because you find a lot of people who are really intelligent but can't apply.
Yeah, that's
Logic
true.
and sit in business or sit. So
Yeah.
I'd rather go for somebody who had the right attitude, who you can mould and develop, than somebody who was just really smart but
Yeah.
couldn't communicate, for example, to someone.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I tend to see that because I'm going into the the STEM sector, and of course there's a lot of intelligent people, but sometimes you tend to find that not everyone is I would like a people person, I guess. I guess, doesn't really, know how to have good conversations and, things like that. Small things that we take for granted, but really go a long way in building relationships and networks and things like that.
Definitely.
So, yeah, definitely. So, into when you said when you look at a CV, you tend to look at the personal qualities first. What personal qualities do you specifically look for?
It's more our interview, but I think some important qualities for me are strong communication skills. So, it's great when you meet particularly a young person who's confident and communicates well. And you do meet some now who are just incredible for their age. The confidence and communication skills they have are really, really impressive. I think resilience, people who can demonstrate resilience. So, given life experiences of, this happened in my life and this is how I reacted to it.
Yeah.
Because you will get setbacks. People will look at company performances, people's career progression, and think, that's great, gone from a trainee accountant up to a CEO within that time scale, as an example. But it's not, it's not just one straight line. It is.
Yeah.
There's ups, there's downs, there's bad periods, there's great periods.
Yeah.
You've got to remain resilient. Otherwise, that's why I think some people or some companies get so far and then just fall off a cliff or stagnate, because you don't have the resilience to see it through the bad period.
Yeah.
Someone with resilience tends to learn from mistakes as well. The ones who are not resilient, when they're faced with the adversity, might crumble. They haven't learned anything, have they? They've just failed. So I think if someone can have strong resilience, then they will learn from mistakes and probably not make the same one again.
Yeah.
And I think the third one, it's got good communication skills, resilience. I think just attitude to learn new things. So, being open-minded about learning new things, trying new roles, because you do come across some people in business where they have a particular job to do, and when you talk to them about, okay, well, there's new opportunities here, would you like to come and do this for a bit? And they don't like to change. They don't want to try new things. And that, again, you probably won't ask that person again when another opportunity comes along.
Yeah.
So you have someone who's really eager to learn and really eager to try new things. They're the people you go to with new opportunities, because you got met with enthusiasm and they'll have a good go at it.
Yeah. You know what, I agree with you as well. That's something I've learned to be way more open-minded and to opportunities that are not always directly linked to what I want to do in the future, but I know that I'll be able to gain something from it. I've definitely learned that that's really important, because then it makes you a much more well-rounded person. Yeah, definitely. So I'd like to ask you as well, in terms of skill set, what top 3 skills do you think young people should have in order to be successful in their future careers?
I think you should try and stick to, not be a generalist. I think if someone who sticks to, whether it's finance or STEM, just have a specialist subject, because people, when you're recruiting people, you want to recruit someone who is, like you can tell that they're very focused on that one subject.
Yeah.
I think have a specialist skill set is always preferred than someone who's job hopped in sectors, because then you're not sure where you sit. Really.
Yeah, that's true.
Punctual. You've got to be. It's the basics of. It might be a bit traditional, but you just have to have them fundamental values, that you're on time, you're in work when you're fitting well to be there.
Yeah.
And the characteristics that I said before, really, that go with it. The right attitude, good communication skills, and show resilience when you need to.
Yeah, I definitely agree as well. Like also punctuality, like you said, goes a long way. Like I said, it's like one of those things that we take for granted, but it can really leave a bad impression on someone if you come, like, I don't know, 15 minutes late, half an hour late, especially to a job interview or just like normal day at work. So yeah, definitely. Yeah. Can you think of a mistake that you made during your education/career, and what did you learn from it?
I think in education, I never had the strongest GCSE results when I left school. They were okay, but they weren't the strongest. And then the guy who I worked for at the time wanted me to go and do the CIMA qualification, which was the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. And I must have been just turned 18, I think. So I'd only actually been in work for 2 years.
Yeah.
But I'd only been in finance for 6 months out of those 2 years. And at the time, I wanted to go on to do the AAT course, which is a more foundation accountancy tech course. That was a 3-year course, but then it exempted you from the first year of the 4-year CIMA course. But he was quite adamant that I should go straight into CIMA and not bother with AAT. And I took his advice and done it, and sat the first 4 exams, and just like impressively failed all 4. And I just look back at that and think it was just too soon to be sitting those exams. I needed at least another 2 years of just finance experience before I even entered them. So probably should have trusted my judgment at the time and done the AAT course. Took me time, the experience, got the foundations, and then went on to do it. So because it just meant that I had, it knocked me confidence at a young age to fail all 4 exams out of 4.
Yeah.
But then when I started to get experience, by the time I got to the last stage of CIMA, which is notoriously the most difficult level, I passed all 4 quite easy, because I had the experience I needed to do it.
Yeah.
So it just knocked me confidence at a young age, really.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's really interesting. So you went from failing to like literally just passing one of the hardest exams. That's really good. Yeah. That reminds me of me. I like to, when I want to do something, I like to rush. I like to do it like right at the moment. And sometimes I have to think, well, a lot of the times I have to like remember to take it easy, because sometimes I tend to forget that I need to know the basics in order to be able to do the hard stuff. Well, whereas I just like to jump into the hard stuff, which obviously isn't the best idea, of course. So yeah, I just wanted to ask you as well, have you ever made a bad career decision, and how did you deal with it if you did make a bad career decision?
No, well, I think because I've been with Abbey so long, I've not like swapped jobs quite a lot, and look back and think I shouldn't have left that business. And also, you never know what the other path might have led to for me when I was younger, but I think the choice I made joining a family business was the right one at the time. I've nearly made bad decisions. I've had periods going back a long time ago when I was considering leaving Abbey to go and do other things, and luckily enough, I had a good mentor at the business who convinced me to stay. And that's probably again going back to being too over keen to progress too soon. Frustrated with business, and having a good mentor there just convinced me to be a bit more patient and stick around, and it was the right advice, really. So thankfully, up to now, I've not made a bad career choice, really.
Oh, that's really good to hear. Not many people can say that. But so you mentioned that Abbey Logistics started off as a family business, and you said that it's that you like the fact that it's a family business. What are the benefits of being able to work in a family business?
I think if it's a small family business, you tend to, you're not coming in to do one specific role. You might get asked to do 3 or 4 different roles because there might not be, say, a full-time job for someone to do HR.
Right.
You might go and do one role and be asked to look after HR, and you might even be asked to look after IT. You just get thrown in the deep end a little bit, which makes you learn fast. And I think as well with family businesses, I've found is that talent is spotted a lot faster than in a big corporate. So if you're in a big massive organisation and you're a higher performer, it's more difficult to get noticed and recognised. Whereas with a family business, you tend to find that they spot talent faster. But the downside of that, they also spot underperformance faster as well. So it's been good for me because they have spotted performance and they have rewarded it throughout the career. So it's put me in good stead. Yeah.
Oh, that's really good. Thank you for that. And what has been, because you've been in Abbey Logistics for quite some time, what has been the rationale behind each of your career moves?
I suppose the change in roles. So when I joined the business, obviously I was just a general junior manager, and then I went into the finance side of things, and quite early on, I was promoted to management accountant before I'd qualified. And the rationale behind that was I was progressing quite quickly.
Yeah.
I was made finance director when I was 24, and that was purely because I was just wanting more and more, and the business said, okay, well, look, we'll put you on the board because you're doing really well. We don't want to lose you, and you've got a big appetite, so we'll appoint you as an FD. That's young FD of a transport business of a decent size. And then by the time I was 29, I was asked to become managing director, which at the time I said, I'm too young, I'm 29. The guy laughed and said, you've been complaining that I say you're too young for 10 years now. You tell me you're too young. So we were going to hold out until I was 30, and he got a bit impatient and gave us the job at 29. But the rationale for that was just purely because I was hungry for more. I was hungry for progression. Thankfully, I was at a business that was able to feed the appetite, really.
Yeah. All right. Okay, that's really cool. So, what do you think the phrase "career ready" means to you? And with the definition that you would use, that you would give it, what do you think that you was career ready at the age of 18?
I think career ready, what does it mean? So you do have people leave school or university who genuinely they're not career ready. And I
Yeah.
think what career ready provide to the students genuinely is that transformation from being education finished to career ready. And it's things like how do you communicate in a workplace, because you're not in school or university anymore. It's very different how you communicate.
Yeah.
That punctuality and attendance we spoke about before, having the right attitude to want to learn and progress. Because you do at school, a lot of people will do what they have to do, but they're doing it because they're told.
Yeah.
I've had a conversation with a number of apprentices to say, you need to quickly snap out of the entitlement mentality, because you're not here entitled to an education. You're here because you're getting paid to be here, and
Yeah.
don't have to employ you. You're not entitled to anything in terms of we don't just have to employ you. We choose to. And I think people transitioning from that mentality of I'm here and I'm entitled to an education to being I'm actually having to perform and they are entitled to me for me to perform.
Yeah.
That is a big change. I think career ready for me is having that attitude of I have to perform because someone's paying me to do a job, and having the right attitude really.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Although I haven't really been in the world of work for a long time, but I have had my toes in it for a bit, and I've realized that yeah, definitely you can't be entitled, because it can be the corporate world or the world of work in general can be quite cutthroat as well, and everybody and meritocracy is quite big. You have to work hard for what you want. No one's really going to hand it to you, regardless of how big the business is. So yeah, definitely I think that Career Ready has helped me as well be ready for this kind of experience in the world of work. So yeah, definitely think that. So this is actually all the questions, and I would like to thank you very much for joining us in the Careers in Conversation today. And it was really great hearing about your experience and what you do and about yourself and your career path. So thank you very much. And
Natalia, if I can just start your butt in.
yeah.
We have somebody as our a question. It's from Ian Nickel, and the question is, what are the reasons why a young person should pursue a career in logistics? Over to you, Steve, on that one.
I think there's a number of reasons why. Number one is it's a very diverse sector. So whether you want to be an accountant, HGV driver, marketeer, you want to work in HR, it's almost find the job you want to do and then find it in logistics, because most roles that you could possibly do, there will be something within the logistics sector. Number two, it's an essential sector. So finally, I think the UK have recognised logistics for what it is. When it was classed as a key sector during the pandemic, and its importance to the country and the world really, in ensuring that people and goods are moved to the places they need to be at the time people need them. And it's a very rewarding one. So if you look at the opportunities within logistics and the pay scales and the opportunities for promotions and career progression, they're outstanding. And also, if you think of the type of companies in logistics, you have an opportunity to join big organisations like DHL. You might start in the UK and end up in Singapore. There's offices globally. So there's lots of positive reasons why a young person should pursue a career in logistics.
Thank you very much. We haven't got any more. So over to you, Natalia.
So to everyone here, like Yvonne said, this is the last Careers in Conversation in the current series, but Career Ready is looking to continue these events, so they will be announcing them on their social media platforms. So make sure that everyone is following Career Ready on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Natalia.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, because I'm going to end the call now, and it's been lovely hearing about you. Okay.
Thanks, Yvonne. Well done, Natalia.
Thank you, Steve.
Welcome.
Thank you, Yvonne. Right.
Okay, thank you.